BitFenix have a long history of producing unique and exciting chassis, having released many great products over the years that have won many awards, not only from us, but from many other sources around the world. Their latest chassis, the BitFenix Nova TG, takes the existing BitFenix Nova and gives it a major upgrade. While not the most innovative upgrade in the world, BitFenix's decision to add tempered glass is certainly something we can get behind. The chassis still maintains the original classic front panel design, with a really clean external appearance that is sure to appeal to any system builder. The clean design is broken up slightly with a single 5¼ inch optical drive bay, which we don't generally see on many chassis these days, but is still very much welcomed for an affordable price point. The front control panel is very straightforward too, with a large power button in the centre, HD audio jacks, a pair of USB 3.0 ports, as well as some small LED power and hard drive indicators. Down the left hand side you'll find a large panel of 4mm thick tempered glass, giving you an uncompromised view of your system's interior. This is going to be perfect for those who want to show off their hardware and their system building skills. Down the right hand side of the chassis you'll find a fairly standard metal panel, although it does have a large raised section which is going to allow extra room behind the motherboard to accommodate any cable management. Around the back of the chassis things are fairly standard, with the motherboard I/O at the top, a 120mm fan mount with a 120mm fan pre-installed, 7 PCIe expansion slots and an ATX PSU mount at the bottom. There are also 3 small holes at the top that can be punched out for external liquid cooling or mains powered LED strips such as Philips Hue or Lifx Z strips. The base of the chassis is fairly straightforward too, with 4 large feet allowing for extra ground clearance to provide airflow to the PSU air intake. I'm happy to see that the air intake features a slide out dust filter, which is going to make maintaining and keeping your system clean much easier, though it was a bit rough to take in and out, but this may just be on the sample we received. Removing the side panel is nice and easy. There are just 4 thumb screws holding the glass in place, allowing you to quickly and easily access the chassis interior. There's plenty of room inside, allowing for mini ITX, micro ATX and ATX motherboards to be installed. The length of the chassis on the interior is a little bit shorter than most, as there are 5¼ inch, 2½ inch and 3½ inch storage bays at the front for all of your storage needs. Having these here may limit the size of expansion cards that you can install, although the 2½ inch bays are shorter, which allows for at least one large expansion card without having to remove the hard drive bays to accommodate it. Behind the motherboard you will find a large CPU cooler mounting cutout, which should speed up the installation process, and most of the major motherboard standoffs are pre-installed too. My only concern is that the cable routing holes look incredibly limited. This is going to make routing the cables quite difficult, and while there is a recess in the right side panel, it appears that space behind the motherboard is going to be fairly restricted. I'm also a little sad to see that the PCIe slots use a snap-off cover design. This means that once you take them off, you can't replace them. If you choose to install an expansion card and then at a later date remove it, such as an SLI configuration, there will be a hole at the back of the chassis. You can buy extra covers that screw into place off somewhere like eBay, but it's a cost-saving feature I'd rather not see on any chassis these days. In the front of the chassis you will find support for 2 120mm fans with a single black fan pre-installed. Sadly, no liquid cooling support here though, due to the drive cages. In the rear of the chassis, you will find another pre-installed 120mm fan. For the Nova Black, this fan has a red LED, and on the Nova White, it features a white LED. Water cooling support on the chassis is quite limited, although you should easily be able to install a 120mm AIO cooler in the rear of the chassis. Behind the motherboard, things are pretty straightforward, although there is very little space to allow for cable routing. But again, there is that raised section on the side panel, which should allow for a little more wiggle room. But we expect that you'll have to take a little bit of extra care to tie the cables down, just so you can make it look clean and tidy and reinstall the panel comfortably. It's easy to pick faults with the chassis, and I'm not being unfair here as it is far from perfect. Some of the metalwork looks and feels a little thin in places, but not to the point where it's of a major concern. There are snap-off metal covers on the PCIe slots which look and feel a little cheap and obviously can't be replaced once removed. The cable routing space is very limited, making it tricky, although not impossible, to get clean cable management. Finally, room for multiple graphics cards is quite limited with all of the hard drive bays in place. With all of that in mind, you would think it would be difficult to praise the BitFenix Nova TG, but that couldn't be further from the truth. There are some standout features that really do appeal to me, such as the dedicated SSD and hard drive bays, the slide-out dust filter for the power supply, and 2 high-quality pre-installed 120mm fans. I can also appreciate the clean design of the front panel, as well as this being one of the few cases on the market that still offers a 5¼ inch optical bay. Not many people use them these days, but there is certainly still a market for them. If the chassis was priced at $89.99, I would be far from happy with what I've seen today. but in reality it's actually less than half that, launching right now at £44.99 in the UK and $60 in the US, with some retailers occasionally going even lower than that. That makes it one of the cheapest tempered glass chassis on the market today, but I would have rather seen a slightly higher price point and for the quality to be a bit better. This includes cable routing space and slightly better quality materials. If you're looking to get the most bang for buck out of a mid-tower, it's easy to overlook any of the minor issues with the Nova TG. It can be troublesome to build your system in and tricky to get a clean looking build, but it is far from impossible. And most of the issues are something you're only going to have to deal with once, and that's when you first build your system. Beyond that, you're left with a great looking chassis that's going to show off your build in all its glory, and it's not going to leave you with a bruised bank balance either. And now for the good stuff. In typical eTeknix fashion, we're going to give away this very chassis here. Sadly, it won't have any components inside, but it's still a great prize. So to find out more, simply click the link in the description below. For now, I hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, remember to subscribe to get more great video content directly to your inbox. Give us a like and comment, and I will see you in the next video. See you later.